So Giannis's time with the Milwaukee Bucks is hopefully over very soon, as we get a report this morning that's actually pretty wild. Rich Paul has been talking to Thanasis and wants to represent Giannis Antetokounmpo, knowing that he's potentially going to be requesting a trade soon. The report says Rich is said to have been making the case that he's the guy who can get a star player where he wants to go. And this is coming at the expense of Giannis's former agent. Giannis Antetokounmpo was close to firing his longtime agent Alex Serratis over his failure to get Giannis traded from the Bucks, and this is likely referring to the New York Knicks low-key trade request that Giannis had in the offseason. And I know to the average person that's not super tapped into everything that's going on with Giannis, that could be a little confusing, but yes, Giannis did a low-key request a trade in the offseason to the New York Knicks, but the deal didn't really get done. The New York Knicks felt like they had enough with Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns to win a championship. And as stupid as I said it was in the moment, they realize it's stupid now, especially after them putting Karl Anthony Towns on the trading block. I know I'm rambling, but yes, Giannis was trying to get to the Knicks during the offseason. And what was the catalyst for all this and Giannis's tune kind of changing mid-season was, one, the injuries that are starting to pile up on Giannis. And this is the second calf strain that Giannis has had this season, which is not good. With everybody worried about after the Tyrese Halliburton, the Jason Tatum, the Damian Lillards of the world getting Achilles injury, and calf strains just being on the rise. Heck, that's what even got Luka traded last season from the Mavericks to the Lakers. This is starting to be a ticking clock for Giannis. He's not the youngest guy in the world. He's 31 years old, so him winning again is something that he can't be waiting around for a floundering franchise like Milwaukee. On top of the Milwaukee Bucks just not being that good this season anyways, after stretching the Damian Lillard contract, which was a fat contract to stretch, they signed Miles Turner, and I'm sorry, Miles Turner and Giannis being the best two guys on your team, or Giannis and Bobby Portis being the best two guys on your team, just isn't going to cut it. The Bucks sit in a super weak Eastern Conference, 18-26, the 11th seed, and I'm sure maybe they could creep into the play-in, but with Giannis missing this time, it's likely that the Bucks are not going to be able to make the playoffs whenever Giannis does come back in 4 to 6 weeks, and the trade deadline's on February 6th. It's January 27th as of recording this video. It's going to be pretty soon to where Giannis either has to finish the season with the Bucks, that are likely going to be fighting for a play-in spot, or trying to tank, because Yes, the Milwaukee Bucks can actually tank this season to get a better draft pick. And if you look, it says 2026 first. They own it, but a bunch of stipulations. And to basically break it down for the Bucks fans or people that care, this is Bobby Marks Anise, if you know who that is. Atlanta will receive the more favorable of either Milwaukee's 2026 first round pick and New Orleans' 2026 first round pick, and Milwaukee will receive the less favorable of the two, which basically means the Bucks and the Pelicans are kind of in cahoots, and the Atlanta Hawks will just receive the best. So if the Bucks get the number 1 pick and the New Orleans Pelicans get the number 5 pick, the Bucks would actually get the 5th pick instead of the number 1 pick. Does that make sense? The top pick will go between the Pelicans and the Bucks to the Atlanta Hawks, and the Bucks will get the second of that pick. Does that make sense? So if the Pelicans get the number 1 pick, it'll go to the Hawks. If the Bucks get the number 2 pick, it'll actually go to the Bucks, and the Pelicans just lose their pick. Does that make sense? That's what's gonna happen. So the Bucks can tank, basically, because it's the Pelicans who have the, you get it. Mark J. Spears said this morning that he thinks Giannis played his last game in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform, and that totally makes sense. If this franchise decides that they're gonna tank for the end of the season, Giannis isn't gonna play. That's just gonna risk him getting hurt for the offseason. Or if he gets traded at the deadline, he won't be healthy enough to play for the Bucks again before February 6th. So I think it's over. And I hope it's over. I don't want Giannis to be a Kevin Garnett figure that stays in Minnesota for too long after winning the 04 MVP and making the Western Conference Finals, and then doesn't eventually get traded to the Boston Celtics until 2006 or 2007, wins a championship, but we wasted multiple years of Kevin Garnett's prime when he could have been competing for a title on a better team in whatever situation he would have gotten traded to if he requested a trade right after the 04 season. And luckily, the Milwaukee Bucks are coming to the realization that trading Giannis might be best for both sides. And we got this report from Jake L. Fisher, so it looks like the Bucks are actually making progress to telling Giannis, hey, I think it'd be best to put you on the trading block and see what we could actually get for you. That being said, getting into actual possible trade scenarios for Giannis, the one that I've been stuck on for the longest, although I don't feel is super realistic, it could possibly happen, is Giannis to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the trade would likely have to involve Austin Reeves going to the Lakers, and the big sell for Rob Pelinka to the Bucks GM is that, hey, this is probably the best player you can get in a potential Giannis trade. Whether you send him to San Antonio, you're likely getting a young rookie guard in Dylan Harper, or you send him to Miami. Are the Heat really willing to give up Bam Adebayo? I don't know. That's a Pat Riley question. I think that Austin Reeves might just be flat out better than Bam Adebayo at this moment. And of course, for the Lakers, you're pairing Luka Doncic and Giannis together. Although that isn't as great as a fit as people would think, because both of these players are ball dominant, and I do think Giannis is ball dominant. This would just be beautiful, especially in 2K. And by the way, whoever made this graphic, why is Giannis wearing the number 43? This is ridiculous. And obviously, you cannot bring up potential Giannis trades without bringing up the New York Knicks, the team that he actually wanted to get traded to during the offseason. And Sam Quinn actually posted this really good potential Giannis to the Knicks trade that I like. The Knicks would receive Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jeremy Grant. The Trailblazers would receive Mikal Bridges and Yabusele. The Bucks would receive Cat, Miles McBride, and multiple first-round picks. And this is a pretty solid haul and leaves the Knicks in a pretty good state. You still have Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Giannis, Jeremy Grant, and you would probably start Mitchell Robinson at that point. And that's a good five. You have two top 10 players, which, you know, you kind of need in the NBA to actually compete. You get the third best player or the second best player in the NBA, and it would leave the Knicks in a good state. The Bucks actually can kickstart a pretty solid rebuild. You either flip Cat for something or you keep Cat for the rebuild. And the Blazers get a really good guy, Mikal Bridges, who the Blazers are pretty good. They'll be solid in a couple years. So this is something that I actually would like to see happen if Giannis does get traded to the Knicks. And sneaky important things that came out today, teams around the NBA believe that Giannis would actually enjoy playing with Jrue Holiday again. And if you're a Trailblazers fan, this does not mean that you're actually about to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo, although that wouldn't be a terrible fit. We immediately get a report that the Knicks wouldn't mind a Jalen Brunson, Jrue Holiday backcourt, especially if it would potentially appease Giannis into playing with the Knicks. So I didn't want to make this video too long. I just hope that Giannis doesn't end up having a Kevin Garnett type of career. Although Giannis did already win a championship with the team that drafted him and multiple MVPs and won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's already as accomplished as anybody could ever hope to be, but he hasn't competed in enough. Like, Giannis hasn't played outside of the first round since 2022. Because in 2022, he gets eliminated in the second round by the Celtics because Chris Middleton gets hurt. 23 first round exit, 24 first round exit, 25 first round exit. It's been a long time since Giannis has even been in the second round of the playoffs. Hopefully he gets traded to a team where he can compete this year. Because next year he'll be 32 years old. He's already making, let's see, $54 million, $58 million next year as a 32-year-old. $62 million player option as a 33-year-old, and not everybody's career is gonna be as long as Stephen Curry, LeBron James, or Kevin Durant. So hopefully he can get out of there. In a perfect world, Giannis is a Laker. And yes, if you're watching this, if you came from TikTok, you're a W man. If you came on the For You page, this is the first video on this channel. We're trying new things. If you're here, like, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You watch the full video, bruh. But yes, we will be trying to upload every single day. I've been in the works for this basketball channel for a while, so the format may change, the thumbnails may change, but why wait to upload a video? There's a lot of things going on in the NBA right now. Trade deadline's on the way, so we've been doing this content shit for what, 2-3 years now, 4 years now. It's a new frontier. It's a new frontier.